We continue our reading of Lest We Forget, a daily devotional by author George R. Knight. Today's reading, January 21, Advent Women on the Move. And Miriam sang to them, "Sing to the Lord, for he has triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider he is thrown into the sea." Exodus 15:21. Women have always had a part in God's work, and so it was in Millerite Adventism. Lucy Maria Hershey, for example, had been converted at the age of 18 and felt the Lord had called her to preach the gospel. In 1842, she accepted Miller's doctrine. Soon after, she accompanied her father on a trip to Schenectady, New York, where a believer asked her father to address a non-Adventist group on the evidences of his faith. The people were so opposed to female speaking that the host thought it best if the father made the presentation. But, miracle of miracles, Hershey found himself speechless. After a long silence, the host introduced Lucy as one able to talk on the topic. And talk she did, finding a response so great that they soon had to shift to a larger auditorium to hold the crowds. That was the beginning of a fruitful ministry that resulted in the conversion of several men who became Advent preachers. Even more successful was Olive Maria Rice. Converted to Millerism in 1842, she was convinced that the Lord had something more for me to do than to assist in prayer meetings. By March 1843, God had blessed her ministry with hundreds of conversions. She wrote to Himes that there are constantly 4 or 5 places calling for my labors at the same time. Rice recognized that many opposed her work because she was a female, but she declared that she dare not stop for the only reason that I am a sister. Though men may censure and condemn, I feel justified before God and expect with joy to render my account for thus warning my fellow beings. Elvira Fassett had to overcome the opposition of her husband. She had been taught that a woman should not speak in public, but being pressed by others, she finally gave in, only to find that the Lord blessed her labors. One of her most important converts was her husband, who had witnessed the impact of her preaching and had come to realize the importance of the prophecy of Joel 2, that in the last days God would pour out his Spirit on young women. Subsequently, the Fassetts preached the Advent message as a ministerial team. The good news is that God summons all of us to proclaim his message, and he will bless us as we yield to his will. This concludes our reading today of Lest We Forget.